Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we extract the most surprising nuggets of knowledge from the latest research, giving you a serious shortcut to being well-informed. Today, we're focusing on something that's universal, intimate, and, well, surprisingly influential. Kissing.
But we're not really talking about the romance of it.
No, not at all. We're dissecting deep, intimate kissing as a biological mechanism, a behavior that actively shapes the microbial communities living inside you.
And those microbes, in turn, might just be shaping your relationship.
So that's the mission for you today. We're going to unpack this high-level hypothesis that intimate kissing kicks off a self-reinforcing, a positive feedback loop.
It's all about your microbiology and your neurobiology working together. Our sources argue that the human microbiota is fundamental to health and social interactions, especially this kind of deep contact.
It's a key route for microbial transmission, a huge one.
Exactly. It's not just a cute habit. It's an incredibly efficient way for a couple to start merging their inner ecology. We're essentially talking about the formation of a single biological unit.
A single unit.
Yeah, you can think of a long-term couple as becoming a holobiont, a unified superorganism sharing a core microbial community.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with just the sheer scale of the exchange. Forget the emotional part for a second and just focus on the biology.
The numbers are pretty staggering.
They really are. Researchers have found that a single intimate kiss, we're talking saliva mixing, tongue contact lasting just 10 seconds, can transfer approximately 80 million bacteria.
80 million. It's a massive dose.
Yeah.
And that repeated high-volume transfer is what leads to microbial convergence.
So that's why couples who kiss a lot end up having much more similar oral microbes than, say, unrelated people or even just roommates.
Right. The intimacy is the key variable there.
80 million bacteria in 10 seconds. I'm trying to decide if that's a good first date statistic or a bad one.
It definitely puts a new spin on sharing. And what's really fascinating is the distinction the research makes between the two main microbial habitats in your mouth. You've got the tongue and you've got the saliva.
And they're different.
Very different. The tongue has a pretty stable, structured community. So the similarity there between partners, that builds up over the long term. It's more about shared lifestyle, diet, that kind of thing.
But the saliva, that tells a different story, a much faster one.
Absolutely. The salivary microbiota is far more transient. It requires really frequent recent exchange to stay synchronized.
So you have to keep at it.
You do. The key finding was that couples reporting a high frequency of kissing, and they defined that as around 9 or more intimate kisses per day.
9 or more, okay.
They had significantly more similar salivary microbiomes. It's a usage-based convergence.
And it disappears quickly, right? The researchers even modeled this.
They did. That similarity in the saliva is fleeting. The data suggests that if partners just stopped kissing, their salivary microbiota would. Well, it would diverge below a measurable threshold in about 1 hour and 45 minutes.
1 hour and 45 minutes, wow.
So that blended community, it needs constant, frequent redosing to be maintained. And that's exactly what feeds into the core hypothesis here.
The positive feedback loop.
The positive feedback loop.
This is where we put the biology and the emotion back together. If that convergence is so temporary, there has to be something motivating the couple to keep up this high-frequency exchange.
And researchers propose 4 key components that reinforce it, creating this self-amplifying cycle. The first, as we just said, is the microbial convergence itself, the successful sharing of microbes.
Okay, that's step 1. What's next?
Step 2 is the potential benefit, oral ecosystem stability. The idea is that sharing all these beneficial, diverse microbes might make the oral ecosystem more resilient for both partners.
More resistant to unhealthy imbalances, that kind of thing.
Exactly. More resistant to dysbiosis. Then comes the third part, the immediate and powerful neurobiological effect.
Right, the feel-good chemicals.
Feel-good chemicals. Kissing triggers the release of bonding hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, and at the same time, it lowers stress hormones like cortisol.
Which feels good. And that leads to the fourth part.
Behavioral reinforcement, the bonding, the lower stress, the nice sensory experience. It all makes you want to kiss more, which completes the circle and drives the microbial sharing.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. This idea that the microbes themselves might be, playing Cupid.
It's an intriguing, almost sci-fi possibility.
Right. We think of attraction as being about things we see or smell, but what if these microscopic organisms are influencing who we want to get close to?
The hypothesis is that some of these oral microbes might have evolved traits just to increase their own transmission. And how would they do that? Maybe by producing pleasant, or sweet, volatile chemicals.
So if the microbes are making your partner smell or taste better, you kiss them more.
And the microbes win by spreading.
So the chemistry you feel with someone might actually be their chemistry, the metabolic byproducts of their microbes.
Gives a whole new meaning to the word.
Yeah.
And if you thought this microbial sharing stopped at the mouth, you'd be wrong. The impact is systemic.
Okay, so it goes deeper, that holobiont idea you mentioned.
It's real. Large-scale studies have looked at gut microbiota and found that romantic partners who live together have more similar gut profiles than siblings.
More similar than people who share genes.
In some cases, yes. The intimate relationship was a stronger factor than genetics.
And I guess that makes sense because you're constantly swallowing your oral microbes, right? So that's the connection to the gut, the famous microbiota-brain axis.
Exactly. You have the well-established gut-brain axis, where gut microbes produce things that affect your mood, your stress response.
Yeah.
But there's also this emerging oral brain axis.
And this is where things can get a little concerning.
Yes. There's a stark link between oral health and neurological health. For instance, the main bacterium in severe gum disease, Porphyromonas gingivalis. It's been found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients.
Wait, bacteria from your gum can end up in your brain.
The thinking is that chronic oral inflammation can create a pathway for systemic inflammation, which contributes to neurodegeneration. So your oral health is directly wired into your brain health.
And it's a two-way street, isn't it? Especially with stress. We said kissing lowers cortisol, the stress hormone.
Right, and that's critical for maintaining a healthy shared microbial state. Because stress hormones, like cortisol, can actually change the gene expression in some oral bacteria.
What do you mean?
They can trigger virulence factors, making them more pathogenic, or help them form biofilms.
So let me get this straight. If I'm stressed and my cortisol is high, am I literally making my partner's mouth ecology worse just by kissing them?
You're creating an environment where the less desirable bacteria are encouraged to, let's say, show their more aggressive side, which is why the stability of the relationship, the low stress state, is so tightly coupled with the health of this shared microbiome.
Fascinating. But as great as this convergence sounds, we have to acknowledge the risk. This is a double-edged sword.
Absolutely. Intimate contact can transmit a whole host of things you don't want. Herpes viruses, Epstein-Barr, those periodontal pathogens we mentioned, even H. pylori.
And that risk brings us to the main scientific challenge with this whole idea, doesn't it? The big question.
The chicken and egg problem. Is microbial convergence a cause of better health and bonding, or is it just a passive consequence?
In other words, are two people healthy and happy because they share microbes, or do they just share microbes because they're already healthy and happy and like to kiss a lot?
Precisely. The microbes might just be along for the ride. To claim it's a true feedback loop, you have to prove that the sharing itself produces measurable effects.
Which is probably why evolution put some constraints on this. Promiscuous deep kissing just multiplies the pathogen risk without giving you any of the long-term benefits of pair bonding.
Right. No cooperative parenting, no cross-protection, just risk.
So how on earth do you solve that causality problem? How could scientists prove this feedback loop is real?
Well, they've outlined a roadmap for a pretty powerful longitudinal human trial. This is where the science gets really rigorous.
So what would that look like?
You need a cohort of couples, and you'd create different intervention arms. You'd have a high-frequency kissing group told to hit that 9 kisses a day mark. You'd have a restricted kissing group.
Good luck recruiting for that one.
Right. And then you'd need control groups, like cohabiting roommates, to separate the effects of intimacy from just sharing a home.
Okay, and what are you measuring?
This is the key. You can't just count bacteria. You have to use advanced sequencing for what's called strain tracking.
Strain tracking.
Yeah, this lets you literally pinpoint a specific genetically unique strain from partner A and confirm that it was transferred to and is now living in partner B. That's the proof of transmission and colonization.
I see. And at the same time, you're tracking their health.
At the same time, you're collecting biomarkers. Salivary cortisol for stress, relationship satisfaction scores. The goal is to see if that proven microbial convergence statistically predicts a later drop in stress or an increase in relationship quality.
If you can show that link, you've supported the causality.
That's the idea.
So what does this all mean? What's the big picture here?
I think the research points strongly toward this concept of a superpersonal stability, where the couple acts like a single organism, that holobiont we mentioned. They're sharing a microbial ecology that helps regulate their health, their neurobiology, their stress.
It highlights a really elegant reciprocity, doesn't it? Intimacy and health are beautifully connected. Affection improves your physical health, and that healthy state in turn nurtures the affection.
It's a virtuous cycle.
Yeah. And to leave you with a final provocative thought, the source material suggests that when a relationship ends, you are literally removed from this positive microbial feedback loop. This might be one reason why breakups are so physically devastating.
You lose that steady source of microbial redosing, that buffer against stress. Cortisol goes up, gut diversity might go down.
So consider how this reframes the consequences of a breakup. You're not just losing a partner, you are experiencing a profound microbial disruption to your entire integrated system. Something to think about the next time you reflect on the costs of a broken heart.